go smile for the camera. Cheese for the camera.
Hello everybody, Blue Dooley. And we're back on the Little Red Express build. And in this video, we're actually going to drive it. The body's not together because I'm trying to get some hinges printed for the hood and the doors. That's been really quite frustrating. But I do have a battery in the truck. We're going to take it out, run it around a little bit, and its top speed is a little lacking. Punch is good. Top speed, it's disappointing. So, the 2300 kV Fusion in a RC four-wheel drive R4 scale transmission. Not a lot of speed. So, might have to see. The way the motor bolts in this transmission's kind of weird, so I don't know if we can get a little bit bigger pinion in here or not. That's to be determined. So, like I said, right now, my battery fits in here really nice. This actually holds it in place really well. And then the way the wires run through the floor keeps it from coming out this way. It does take a little bit of wiggling to get it in here, so I might have to clearance right about here to make getting the battery in a little better. But I just got the plug zip tied up to the frame, and we'll throw a photo up in here. But the way the exhaust comes out, it comes out here to the step, and then of course comes up to a stack. Probably turn on a little more light. There we go. So again, the exhaust comes out, comes up, runs up through this step, up to the stacks, and in the photo I'll throw up, you can actually see there's a pretty sizable muffler right here. So I'm going to make a muffler to kind of cover the wires a little bit, and I'll match it on each side, and then I can run, I don't know if I'll 3D print some exhaust tubing up to the motor or not, or I might try to bend that aluminum tubing to come up and join the motor we're putting on here. Well, the engine that's covering the motor, if you want to be technical. So let's run this. We'll jump to the clip where we're outside driving it, because again, I haven't actually driven it, and the suspension actually works really good on the truck. The rear's a little stiff, which is actually kind of accurate for a pickup truck. The fronts, I might have to see if I can get a little bit firmer spring, but actually out on the street at its unimpressive top speed, the suspension and steering works great. I am really happy with the way that suspension and steering performs out on the street. I even try to jump it up the curb and off the curb. Again, it's disappointing top end. Probably might save it from tearing that front suspension up. But like turning, that little Reefs Micro 55 with the steering system I have, it works great. I cannot tell you how happy I am that works as well as it does. Like I said, there's some bump steer. It's not perfect, but kind of for what most people are going to be doing with this, these shop trucks. You're not racing them, maybe drag race, but you're not road coursing them or off-road rally racing with them. So for cruising around, I can't tell you how happy I am with the way that turned out. I will tell you, with the Racing shocks I'm running, I don't know if I have a set of stiffer springs or if the stiffer springs came on it, but going off the curb and up it, the frame kind of scrapes a little bit. So if I had a bumper on it, the bumper would scrape on the curb. again, it's not really for jumping, it's for cruising. So, some run-in video, and then we'll go inside and look at some other parts we're working on.
What do you think, pupper doggers? What's up? That was not very fast. Huh. Sit up, puppers. There you go, smile for the camera. Cheese for the camera? No. Well, where'd Mom go? Go get her. Hey.
And they are super duper simple. I notched out my floor square so the frame rails fit up nice and tight in here, and then I just made some little tabs that I glued in place, and this will hold the back of the cab to the chassis. This front mount is a little ugly, but it's going to be hidden behind the bumper. Yeah, the glue kind of went a little weird on me, so I need to file that smooth, but I made a little shelf to set the radiator on. I'll have to make an upper radiator core support here, and then I'll probably put the magnets to hold the hood in place up on those as well. But so this kind of big body mount is glued to the front of the cab. The bumper's going to be glued to it, and then both sides of the frame bolt to it, so that'll be a nice sturdy mount. And I still have some holes I need to stick some more putty in. The hood and the doors seem okay. Well, the hood's got a little more filling I gotta do. But like the driver's door here, I need to build up a little bit more material so I can make it smooth. And I'll use a file to get the kind of the big chunky stuff done, and then I'll switch to some sandpaper and smooth it out. And I have a primer, a base coat, and a top coat, and then I'll have to go get some clear. But the floor I'm pretty happy with. I do have a battery holder that I need to glue in here, but I kind of want to get the putty done first. Now the way I had this body, or the cab, situated, I printed the cab like this. So this sat flat on the print bed. So that kind of around the window here just didn't print super well. So I need to putty that. And I'm just using mechanics gloves just to kind of keep from getting quite so messy. When I do my final sanding and paint, it'll be a nice smooth panel instead of a holy mess. And again, a little thicker than I need to be, but that'll also give me something to sand through and still end up with a nice finish, I hope. So as you can see, my shock mount is going to be about even with the bed floor. And doing a wood floor with some balsa wood. I need to pick some more up payday next week. Or, well, next week from when I'm filming this. And then I still need to do the inner wheel arches. Although I don't really, because these tires are small enough. They don't extend into the bed at all. But I'm going to 3D print some mounts that I'll glue to these. And then I'll probably just glue 4 up. And that'll mount the bed. The tailgate I still need to work on, because it's still a warped mess. So I might need to trim the frame just a little bit, just to get the tailgate to sit right, or I might actually use the RC Everyday cross members. I might actually screw the hinges for the tailgate into that. That might actually work out pretty good. So I also need to clean up the bed here a little bit where it I cut the tailgate out. So the other thing I need to do is my servo mount. I'm going to adjust because the body mount uses the same hole as the servo mount, so I'm going to just adjust it so I can run a longer screw through the mount into the other mount. And then the battery hold down is just a simple bracket that'll glue to the bed floor, and then the way the wire goes through the cab floor, that'll keep it from sliding out of the truck. So just kind of slips in there, and then the seat will velcro to this. That'll hide the battery really nice. So I got my stack mounts printed, and they are quite thin. So this end actually broke, but I'll glue it back together. So I made them 60 millimeters tall, and I just put this piece primarily so I can glue it to the bedside. I'll get the truck over here in a second, and I'll show you how they're going to look on the truck. But I can put a small 2 millimeter screw in each, and that'll clamp it down. The tubing is 7 millimeters, and of course I miter cut mine. I know that's not what the truck had in real life, but this is my truck, and I'm going to run miter cut. The real truck also had a heat guard or heat shield around the stack, and I thought about trying to find one to mount on here, or maybe make my own, or something, but I think it's just going to be more work than it's worth. So I'm not going to have a heat shield over my stacks on my truck. And that's okay, because it's my truck. I'm going to build it how I want. So I do have some glue I need to go grab. So I have actually plastic weld, and it is a general purpose plastic solvent cement. It is MEK, which Matt over at Scale Builders recommends for styrene, 3D printing, stuff like that. It does say it is, the vapors on it are pretty stout, so I'm not going to glue anything in the office. I'm going to take it out to the garage and glue the stack mounts on with this stuff, because the Instacure I have been trying to use, and the 2-part epoxy from Gorilla Glue, despite how quickly they're supposed to set, it takes forever for those glues to set with this PLA or the ABS. So I'm going to try this. It has an all-day or 24-hour complete cure time, but hopefully I'll have a better glue. So that's how we're going to mount the stacks, the wipers, mirrors, taillights with this stuff. And then these little guys are the hinge that finally printed correctly. Let's move those out of the way for a second. Let me just stand up here. So what I was trying to do was make the hinge like I've seen on some toy cars, so it'll kind of push the door out and move at the same time. I don't think my angles and stuff are correct. So what I did was made a small hollow box with a screw hole in it, and I notched a slot in here. So what I can do is run a 2mm screw through the hinge. This will be glued to the door or the hood. And then I'll have to still make the piece for this side, but that'll glue to the body. That'll allow me to pop it out a little bit and pull it out a little bit so it clears. And that's how we're going to do the door hinges. Well, each door is going to only have one hinge, and then the hood will have two. So I need to print out 3 more of each of these pieces. And despite being in CAD, plenty of room for these to slide apart easily, they don't. And I'm not sure why. Because apparently getting parts to fit together is trickier than actually designing the part. So that's where we're at on those. As I mentioned, I do have the wipers. Oops. I need to cut them out of the supports. And then I still need to make taillights for the truck. We also put the wood shelf together and got a new metal shelf. So the printer's a little more stable now. I needed more truck parking anyways. The CXT rebuild is coming. I have most of the parts I need. I need to get the links measured into the machine shop to get threads cut on them. And then I also need to take one of the 5mm rods and have an end machined from 5mm down to 4mm for the pinion gear to go in the Tamiya 3-speed transmission. So that rebuild is coming. Like I said, I got axles, shocks, tubing to make the chassis out of, transmission, transfer case. I don't have drive shafts, and I haven't decided on if I'm going to, what exact tires I'm going to run again. I really like those J Concepts, but they're glued to those rims, and I don't want to mess with trying to unglue them and mount them on something else. So I'll probably get another set of tires. I need to design some rims because I'll need a lot less offset because the axles are wider. But that'll be done here in a little bit. So as far as the Little Red Express goes, now that I have hinges that work, I need to take the body off the chassis, strip off most of the parts of the chassis that I'm not going to paint black. Paint the chassis black along with some of the suspension components. And then get the hinges and stuff glued into the cab. Sand everything smooth. Do some other bodywork prep. And then to get it painted. I have wood for the wood bed. The only other thing I need for the bed is I'm going to make some little T things to kind of slat in between the boards so it looks like there's some metal strips in the bed holding those wood slats in place. But I want to get the hinges and stuff all mounted up and then mess with that little detail stuff kind of towards the end. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, all the support I need is just click like, subscribe so you can see more content, leave me a comment, and if you want some Red Cat stuff, I have an affiliate link. But you don't have to use that if you don't want to. All the support, like, subscribe, leave a comment. That's all I need. It is 4th of July weekend here in the United States, so I hope everyone has a safe and happy 4th. Eat lots of barbecue, keep all of your fingers, and we'll catch you in the next one.